to know that we had a mini reunion right there with work that some of my sisters do, Sisters of Social Service in Los Angeles. And who would have thought in Richmond, Virginia, we'd catch up with the fruits of our work. That's the magic of this trip. Every place we go has been so, what we call spirit-driven, so alive in a love and a hope and a promise that, I mean, I have to confess, it's our last full day on the road. We've been on the road since June 17th, but a part of me is really sad because I'm going to have to go back to life in ordinary time. And I don't know that people on the metro in D.C. are going to be quite as enthusiastic about hearing my message and knowing that we were nuns on the bus and nuns on the metro. You folks are our last stop as a really important congressional office. And I have to tell you, there was struggles about coming here, you know, with the threats of the weather's been such a problem recently, and trying to make sure the roads were clear and how was it going to work and what was going to happen. But we said this was a stop we had to make. Because you all, those of you in this district, know how important Mr. Cantor is right now and how he's missing so much of the story of what's happening in America. And our effort, I keep saying, is to break people's hearts with the truth of the folks that we meet. And so I want to invite my sister's posse. It was really kind of fun. We're not a posse, but, you know, I call them my peeps, too, for my people. But it's been this amazing honor. And you have to know that this bus is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. But inside, it's just packed with memories of folks who have made a difference, who are contributing to our society, who are struggling so hard, who are really trying to make us the best of who we are as a nation. So I've invited my sisters to introduce themselves first. And we've been a variety of sisters, so some of us have been on longer than others. And wanted to share people that they're carrying in their heart as we go back to D.C. and to bring a message to Congress. Mary Ellen, you want to go first?
Hi, my name is Sister Mary Ellen Lacey. I'm a daughter of Charity. And the person that I'd like to bring up to you is a little boy we met at Mercy Ministries, where they give daycare, computer education, GED, senior help. And they asked this little boy to talk to us. They gave him the microphone, and he came and he stood in front of the podium. He said, "I am Mikkel. I'm a second grader, and I am a shining star." He said that he learned to be a shining star because he learned that we are born to be lights for each other in this world, and he is a brilliant star. I thought that was beautiful, and the reason it stuck out for me is because the only reason that child learned that he was a beautiful, brilliant star is because the community enabled him to see that within himself and to potentiate his being, because he attended these reasonable programs that were aimed at achieving and bringing the most out of our little ones and our most vulnerable. So I think that that story will stay with me for a long time to come, because I think that's a story that goes on throughout America. Yes, we see these children who get disadvantaged, who don't get the advantages that some do, and we lose many stars. And we have to step up and say, no mas.
Hi, I'm Sister Marge Clark, and I'm a member of the Sisters of Charity of the Blessed Virgin Mary out of Dubuque, Iowa. And I work in Washington, D.C., and I work with Network, and I'm a lobbyist. The person I'm hearing in my heart is actually somebody from Dubuque, Iowa, a young woman named Tia, who is, she's a success story. She just this weekend is moving out of a shelter for women and children. She's about 19 years old. She has a 2-year-old and a 2-month-old. And she has been in a program, in a housing program that has integrated services, which has allowed her to finish her education. She talked about how she was not well parented. It's taught her parenting skills. It has taught her how to deal with money. It has taught her all the things she needs, and helped her with how to get resources she needs when she moves out. So she'll have housing assistance, food assistance, all the things she needs to be able to go back to school in the fall in a nursing program. And she says, I know I need some help for the few months or maybe a year or two until I get my nursing degree, and then I can be out on my own and I won't need the services any longer. And so I see her as a very good success story. So I just want to raise her up as somebody I'm very excited about and carry with me.
Sister Diane Donahue, a sister of social service, and I'm from Los Angeles. And so when we saw my friend here, tell me your first name again. Kira Campbell? Yes. What a great name. That's terrific. And Kira, I was so pleased to see her and to remember a lovely young woman that we met in Fox Hills in Illinois. We can't always remember where we've been and where we're going. 9 states, 15 days, 2,700 miles. Those are the 3 things I can think about. So back to the story. But we met this young woman. She was in a chair very similar to yours, mechanized, terrific. She had supportive housing. But she got a letter, and we took the letter with us, that as of July 1, today, she's without dental care, over and out in Illinois. They cut everybody's dental care that is on SSI. That's incredible. That's the kind of legislation that Mr. Cantor talks about in terms of what he supports in the Ryan budget. And that's why we will not take that. When you talk about cuts, you talk about cuts to the most supportive, imaginable, integrated, absolutely special, absolutely necessary services. We cannot do that. We've got to, if we're going to do the cuts, we do it at the top and we cut the exemptions that people at the top get. That's what we're talking about.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming out on this so very hot day. My name is Sister Rochelle Friedman. I'm a sister of the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary from Dubuque, Iowa, and I work at the Coalition on Human Needs in D.C. And one of the people, too, actually, that they go together. We were at the Philadelphia Neighborhood Ministries, and this little boy was there. His name is Josiah Joseph. And I said, Josiah Joseph, how come you're here? It's a Saturday and there's no after-school programs. And he said, I asked my mom if I could come because I like coming here. And he was hanging close to his teacher. His teacher, Sharon, had lost her son in a violent gun situation in Philadelphia. And she said she learned herself that what she needed to do was to take on peace and tranquility. And then she decided, once she became more peaceful and tranquil, that she needed to teach that to her children. The children she taught in middle school, including Josiah. And she said, Josiah, we show Sister our classroom. So he proudly led the way to the classroom. The classroom was beautiful, painted in beautiful colors, and it was just stunning. And Sharon went on to say, what we do here is we put the lights low. She had beautiful pictures of nature, music. They did breathing techniques and they did exercise. So they learned peace and tranquility. And I could see in Josiah's eyes that he had learned peace and tranquility, taught to him by his teacher, Sharon, all because of a program that enjoys wonderful success. They need funding, and we need to stop government cuts that would impact these programs and young people like Josiah Joseph and his teacher Sharon. Thank you.
So, in this week, you could have us here all afternoon telling stories, because I want to tell you about Billy and Shaisha, and I think of, who was that, Dan and Roberta, and I mean, we've got a long list. But just think of them as crammed in the bus right now. And we hope going forward that we as network will be able to tell the stories of these people. And because we want to tell it on Capitol Hill. So often the folks on Capitol Hill, like Mr. Cantor, are so disconnected from the real life struggle. And they want us to think that people are lazy at the bottom and they're dependent. They are not lazy and they are not dependent. What we discovered was there's this huge community of people struggling together to to lift each other up. And there's a joy in that place. And what we have found in our programs that Catholic Sisters have run is that there's a common theme of beauty, of love, and of great care for the people who come. And that great care for the people who come is the love that can set folks free, to lift them up the way that my sisters have described. But you know what? It is the public-private partnership that make those programs possible. Each of these programs relies on some government funding. And the fact is that sisters are well known for squeezing every penny to get every possible drip of benefit out of it, but that they still want to cut those programs that are doing such amazing work in very challenging settings. We want to think that, some legislators want us to think we're afraid that we're bankrupt, that we don't have enough money, and therefore we have to make these tough cuts. So later on, we can take care of people, but we can't do it now. Quite frankly, that's a lie. It is not true. Our nation, the richest nation on the earth, on the planet, probably the richest nation in the history of the planet, is not bankrupt. The only way we're... Okay. Well, we're not bankrupt. The only way we're bankrupt is in political will. Is our politics about solving the problem of our nation, or is it about playing a game so we can win elections and cheer? And then be divisive yet again. We are a nation of yelling, talking heads. That's wrong. Governance is not a sporting game. Governance is not where you just pick your side, sit on the couch, eat your potato chips, cheer for a side, and then when the election's over, you think, oh, I'll be around again in 4 years. And then you go off and do your own life. Our forefathers, and I like to say foremothers, brought forth on this continent something new. It was an experiment, but democracy demands that the public be engaged. And quite frankly, politicians, I think, sometimes prefer if we're not engaged. It makes their life a lot easier, as we found out on this trip when politicians fled the jurisdiction at our first stop because we had an appointment, but they just left. They got scared. But then they learned, you don't flee from the nuns. You can run, but you can't hide. So what we discovered was, as we crossed the country, people have been more and more responsive. Now, we did let Congressman Cantor know that we were coming, and it's Sunday, and we know that his staff's not working. But we wanted to come here because we think it's really important to root our message in this ground, that there is an alternative to this. We don't have to give tax cuts to the wealthy and expect jobs to be made. I mean, I've been saying that, the definition of insanity, where you keep doing the same thing over and over and you expect a different result. The wealthy have had significant, huge tax cuts for 10 years, and have you seen jobs? No. Free market theory, and I love lobbying free market theory to Republicans. You'd think they'd be all excited. Free market theory says that you put money where there's pent-up demand. You put money where people don't have enough. You put money to give an opportunity to the folks like Billy that I met in Milwaukee at the dining room, St. Benedict's dining room. Billy and his wife made the decision that they would rather put a roof over their head. They only had a limited amount of money because his hours got cut back to 30 hours. So they had enough money to either put a roof over their head or put food on the table. They decided the roof was most important because they wanted their kids to stay in the same school. But they go every evening to St. Benedict's for dinner, and where the food is prepared and served, and that food is connected to a federal program that is going to be cut. That's wrong. So what I'm saying is that we have to see these programs as a safety net, but we also have to see that these programs are a business subsidy. Because if Billy isn't able to eat and feed his family, he can't go to work. You can't keep working 30 hours a week at a hard job if you haven't eaten. So these very programs subsidize business that are paying not a living wage. We as a nation have chosen to do a safety net as opposed to a living wage. We could do it the other way. The fact is, politically, over time, this is the way it's developed. So let's preserve the safety net, but let's see that business benefits from these very programs because they have workers who can concentrate. They have workers who can do the hard labor. They have workers who cannot worry totally about their family living in a car, and Billy can know that his kids are safe in school. That's what this is about. And why these very programs are communal, because we're in this together. We care about these programs. We do volunteer work in these programs. We participate in these programs, but business benefits too. So business has as much interest in preserving these safety net programs, and that's one of the things we've learned on the bus. We have an alternative to the current Ryan budget that was passed by the House and promoted by Congressman Cantor. It's called a faithful budget. The Christian, Jewish, and Muslim community in D.C. came together, and 65 of us went together, and we had fights, we argued, we sent late night emails. I thought we were going to lose it. It felt like we were negotiating in Congress, but we prove it is possible to create an alternative. Now, you'll tell we're a low budget operation because, well, we only have the first 4 pages of it, and but you can see it online. It's 55 pages. And what it is basically, but I love 55 pages boils down to 5 words. And I want to teach you those 5 words. Some of you that is following Nuns on the Bus have heard these 5 words, because this is the chant. We've got to get going across the United States. There is a way forward. And is my posse ready? On your mark, get set. All right. Okay, this is our 5-word message for a faithful budget. Ready? Reasonable revenue for responsible programs. We're going to have to raise revenue. Don't let anyone tell you can get out of this by cutting. And then what they're trying to do is to give $8 billion more to the Defense Department than they're asking for. I mean, that's just nuts. Even the Defense Department says there's programs that need to be eliminated. What do? They just throw money at it. And then what do they want to do is they want to make these safety net programs, folks who are benefiting from them, pay the price. They also want to cut taxes, as I said, and not shift, and to pay for that by cutting programs. We believe that tax revenue for responsible programs is the way forward. Everybody should pay their fair share. We're not saying, gouge the rich. They want to say it's class warfare. No, this is a step forward for 100% of us. It's not about the 1% and the 99%. We're 100% together on this, because those that have benefited in this amazing country of ours, in this amazing economy of ours, those that are at the top should not pay less percentage of their income than the middle class folks do. That's simple. Everybody's benefited. Let's everybody pay in. That's what we're about. That's what we care about. So now we've learned, I'm a lawyer, I'm not a teacher, but the teachers on the trip, my friends behind me, told me that if we say this 3 times, you'll learn it, okay? But then the other day, a couple days ago, we found out, someone told us if you say it 7 times, you'll believe it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say it 3 times here, and then you're going to have homework, okay? Like school. You're going to have to say it 4 more times during the day so that we really get it into our bones, because our nation has to change the conversation. We can't just yell at each other. We can't live in la-la land and pretend that we can get out of this just if we wish something. We got into this situation not because of these safety net programs. We got into the situation we're in because for the first time in our history, when we decided to wage 2 wars, we chose not to pay for them. We chose rather to cut taxes, and that's wrong. So let's figure out how we got in here. Let's make some responsible ways forward, and let us do, you ready? You're going to hear it from us one more time, and then you're going to do it, okay? Reasonable revenue for responsible programs. All right, you ready? Okay. I see everybody counting their fingers. Make sure it's 5 minutes. Okay, got it? All right, 1, 2, 3.
Reasonable revenue for responsible programs.
Woo, you all are quick setting. Okay, now the second time.
Reasonable revenue for responsible programs.
All right, now everybody has to take a deep breath. We're people of faith or people of non-faith, but we all know that when you take a deep breath, you get stuff really into your inside, and hopefully our exhaust fumes won't choke us. Okay, breathe in, ready?
Reasonable revenue for responsible programs.
That's it, Virginia. You can do it. You can make the difference. You can spread the word from this moment forward that it is possible to have a faithful budget, not to divide us, not to separate us, not to have a 1% budget, not to have a 99% budget, 100% budget that's based in faith, based in the fact that we're community. And then we will reclaim our country, because you know what the first 3 words of the Constitution are? It's we the people. All right, let's do it. You're all about it. You can do it. I'm counting on you. Thank you so much. Leave it? Tomorrow night in my own bed. I'm losing my voice too. But the other piece is just know that we're going to deliver this to Congressman Cantor. Make sure that he gets it. I have a hunch that our profile has been lifted. We tried to do this before and we were unsuccessful. I think he might pay attention to us now, especially if you all in his district say, "Hey, pay attention to the Nuns on the Bus." Okay. Oh, the website, faithfulbudget.org is for this.
Eric Cantor is not here. here, but we want to make a point to introduce Wayne.
Okay, I can't do it because we're C3s. I can't do it because we're C3s. Sorry. Glad you're here to talk to folks. Feel free. I hear it. I'm grateful. I always like swelling the crowd. But we've got some tax considerations that we got to be really careful about. Otherwise, there's some folks that would like to get us in trouble. Don't get us in trouble, okay? I'm in enough trouble as it is.